says we're streaming.
Yeah.
We'll let the phone tell us we're good.
$30 rounds is a lot. Just realized.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We could speed fire and get the guy in the orange T-shirt all torqued up.
Yeah. Right. Okay. God. Whatever.
Whatever. Here, let me show you how shitty you guys are.
Well, no, the thing that bugs me is that he like set it on the thing. So it was like it wasn't free floating. He like set it up on the.
Well, he said he was going to check the sites. So if that's what he was doing,
Okay,
I
fair
guess
enough.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Come on now. All right, it says we're live.
Hey.
We'll wait for some sound. I hear nothing. Check 1, 2. Come on now. That's right. Do you remember that when I came home from up north and I was saying, come on now. That's right.
Come on now.
That's right.
Come on now. That's right. That's right.
It was, who's the woman who got kicked off the Detroit City Council?
I forget her
Or
name.
resigned out
Yeah.
of before she got kicked
Yeah,
off.
I forget her name. But is that what she said? She would say that all the time? Come on now.
She was
That's
with this.
right.
She was with this other guy in D.C.
Oh, yeah, and he was like...
I was listening to XM Progressive, and yeah, and everything. They were just like they were so excited.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That when they got really excited, they go, "Come on now!"
Come on now. Yeah.
It was
Come
like
on now.
it was almost like a rodeo.
Yeah, I
calling.
love that. They say that those two cultures are very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like inner city, like kind of like whatever low income areas, and then same thing in the south, down south with white people. It's like the same. They're derived from the same lineages.
Huh.
I always thought that was interesting.
Why am I not? Oh, duh, because I don't have it on.
That's right.
Okay, we're good.
That's right. Thanks for listening to us talking behind the frame.
Right.
They say that
All right, we're going live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
All right, we got to.
Chris has got to pause. This is podcastception. Inception. Yeah, there we go.
Right. So this is podcast number X.
I think it's
We're not
11.
sure. Is it 11?
It might be.
Okay, so we went live on Thursday. Charlie and I were both tired and grumpy.
Emphasis on grumpy.
And we didn't like the content. We didn't like our behavior. So we're shit canning that one.
Yeah.
Pardon the candor. And we're going to start going on Sundays somewhere around 3, 4 o'clock anyway.
Yeah.
So Charlie's got a new job with grueling hours. And I think this is better for both of us.
Yeah, and this way we're not coming off of a long work day. I don't know. It was brutal. You guys are lucky that you're not ever going to see it. And I think we're lucky too.
So that said, I'm Chris.
I'm Charlie.
And we are
8-balling, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're going to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So, it's funny. After Thursday, and we were going to do one yesterday, but we decided not to. All I was thinking of was like, how do I make it better? Like, am I like in a rut now, And I think part of it was just how we were, it was very, very negative and like, it was like glass half empty, which is stuff that I don't like. So today it's going to be very glass half full. And I want to start off by, I read an article about how apparently the post office is going to be out of money by 2024. And that absolutely made my day. Because I've been saying that for years, that there should be no post office.
Well, they needed bailing out. It was quite a while ago. They were making money. They've gone back and forth from making money to not making money quite a few times, historically.
I think last year they lost $400 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. They had like a new postmaster general, whatever the guy's title is, who runs it.
Yeah.
And got profitable again, so that doesn't surprise me. You know, the one thing I'll say is, what's the stamp now? 52 cents, 55 cents, something like that.
I don't know. I don't send anything.
Everything's, I mean, they're pretty efficient. You know, they're not UPS, FedEx
Yeah, I was going to say,
efficient.
but not compared to that.
But to be able to physically mail something for 50 cents that's going to get across the country in
A few days.
a few days to Chicago from Detroit in a day, I
All right,
mean,
that's nice. Yeah.
It's pretty cheap. FedEx isn't going to do 50 cents.
Right.
Nor is UPS.
But my logic is, would
So-
you rather have all that money back in your pocket that's not going to the post office that ends up going, you know, to your $1 postage, you know, letter that goes to FedEx or UPS or even Amazon? Did you see that? That was it FedEx or UPS is canceling their service with Amazon because they're directly in competition with them because they have their own delivery service now.
UPS is canceling Amazon.
Yeah, their
I
service
did-
with them. Yeah, the
Wow.
contract. And I was like, holy
Wait,
shit!
totally cutting ties?
Yeah, no more. Yeah, we're done. It's because Amazon's building their own fleet, and it's like you're in direct competition with us. We're not going to service you when you're directly like you're fighting against us.
I'm not sure that's wise because you know what? Amazon
It's
will
going to take over.
crush them.
Yeah, totally.
They might even replace them.
I hope so. It's that would be nice.
And if I had to guess, I would say with very, very high confidence, Amazon's got to be their best customer.
Oh, of course. Who else was there? And who made that decision? There was probably some pissed off CEO. He's just like, they're fucking doing this. Like, we're done with them. You know, we're in direct competition. That's it. We're done. No more. And the guys are like, it's not really.
Wow.
We shouldn't do that.
This is kind of peripheral, but it relates. That picture that I printed a family picture yesterday and going to do a little rearranging here. I ordered a picture frame at like 7 this morning, a picture
Yeah.
frame and something kind of for you.
Oh.
I'm not going to, and that's not coming, it's coming from outside the contiguous U.S.
Oh, wow.
But the picture
Is it a
frame,
Filipino?
I'm saying nothing because you could hone in on it pretty easily.
Oh, okay. All right.
A picture frame and 2 items. I ordered them at 7 o'clock. They're going to be here by 9 tonight. Same day on a Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the? Really?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
And there have been vehicles that have dropped Amazon stuff off here before, and they're just like these kind of nondescript little vans.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's
some
like-
have even been cars.
It's because Amazon, if you're an Amazon delivery guy, you can drive your own you can own your own vehicle and deliver the stuff for them.
Well, you know what
And you make a lot more money that way.
I thought of this months ago. Why wouldn't Amazon buy Uber?
Oh, and just do package delivery like that? Yeah. Hey, come on, get the package. Boom. There you go. You get $5 for that. But thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's slightly different for the driver, but the resources are there. You just tweak the logistics and how the drivers get paid.
Yeah, I don't know that would be efficient enough doing one at a time. You have to do like 30 or 40 at a time.
But 50% or more of what you need's in place.
Yeah.
It's just tweaking.
Right. They could
And I
partner
mean,
with
I-
them. Yeah, they'd be cheap. Be
I
better
would.
that way.
I think Jeff Bezos seems like a guy that, to whatever degree he can take shit over, even outside the space of Amazon. Because first it was ebooks, right? And now it's selling every fucking product under the sun.
Yeah. Right. So
Now I'm going to transport people.
do everything.
I
yeah.
remember when we were talking last night, and I was like, all right, what if Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were the only 2 guys?
With personal militaries, private militaries.
Well, but I would think if one of those guys could start playing in the other guy's sandbox, they would probably enjoy it. And I don't even know what made me think of that. Take over, just to get into like Elon Musk's mobility space.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, especially with that kind of stuff, those big brain guys, we're gonna see some amazing teamwork and just like I think we're gonna see some
You think?
stuff that you can't even comprehend at this point.
You don't think there's going to be such an ego clash that can't happen?
I don't think so, because both those guys want to make money, and a trade war, internal trade war, non-nationalized trade war isn't really a good idea.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And they're not in direct
It's
competition.
but when you say neither of them needs money, I think they're at that point. Like I said, that my hero Donald Trump said in his first book, you get to a point where you have more money that you could spend. It just becomes it becomes your scorecard. I think he's what he's or how you keep score.
Right, because it becomes more about just who can get. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Jeff Bezos. I mean, his scorecard is he's just black ink is just it's like an oil well, right? And Elon Musk has plenty of money, even though nothing makes money yet for him. But
Right, it's just operating at a loss like continuously. Even that. Wait, did you see that Hyperloop thing? Like that's dead in the water.
No,
They bailed on it or something like
that
that.
doesn't surprise me.
Because I blame the state of California just as much as I blame the Boring Company. But
Did you see the interview? I think it was on Rogan, where he said when he started that, he just dug a hole.
yeah, it's
He
just
got a
like a
permit.
fucking
He's like, how'd you get started? I dug a hole.
yeah. We're just
They're
a company that digs holes.
Well, he got a permit to dig a hole,
Yeah.
and then it just went from
Yeah.
there.
Right. Yeah. I did like that.
Which was
Yeah.
amusing.
Right, and-
I can't figure out if I like that guy or not, but that was a funny story.
Yeah, and I've had to explain that to several people that boring doesn't just mean like I'm bored. It can be like boring is like drilling. Yeah, you're digging a hole, drilling
yeah.
a hole. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion on that, wasn't there?
Yes, people don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they also made flame. Yeah, they started with hats, and then they made flamethrowers.
Yeah, he did that kind of as a joke, though, right?
Yeah, and it's not a real flamethrower, but it is like, come on. Wait, did you see that movie yet? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, that was the one I asked you about that you didn't remember.
Wait.
You got to text me stuff. I forget.
Okay, I'll tell. No, everybody watching 8Ballers. I'm deciding that's the name of our audience members.
Okay.
8Ballers. You guys have to go watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's freaking great. It's so awesome. Oh no, I can't tell you to do that. Spoiler alert. Okay, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know, just cover your ears. There's a part in there where he uses a flamethrower to burn somebody alive, and it's like it comes out of nowhere. You like don't see it coming at all, but it's great.
That doesn't sound like it's fun and fruity. Are you familiar
Oh,
with
it's totally
fun
fun and fruity. No, it is totally fun
Oh.
and fruity though.
You will hear me say fun and that's not fun and fruity. Do you know what a prairie fire is?
Yeah.
Do you know why I know what a prairie fire is?
Because you took 7th grade history.
No.
Why?
You know what the drink is? A prairie
Oh,
fire?
no. I thought you meant like a real prairie fire.
No, a prairie fire is a shot of tequila with a whole bunch of Tabasco in it.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's not like good tequila. It's just Rock Gut Cuervo.
That's not fun and fruity.
So
oh, like a drink. Okay.
your dad and I were up north at the Sportsman,
Yeah.
and we had the
They
pool.
closed, by the way.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh,
a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Not like the only bar in that city is Friggy's, which is like
How did that place stop making money?
people. You guys got old and stopped going there. It's like a new generation now.
And they don't like hole in the wall bars?
I guess.
That place was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, so your dad and I had the pool table, and we had it. We like ultimately gave it up. We just had it for so long. But there was this guy. So this is when I started to become a regular there. And this guy, Gary, I forget his last name. He was a regular. And he came up to your dad and me, and he's like, you guys are doing so well. I got to buy a couple of shots. And up come these shots, and they're obviously tequila. And
Like
Cuervo
orange.
is that yellowy,
Yeah.
icky looking. And you just see this red shit in it. And we're like, what are these? And he goes, take them. You'll find out. So we throw them back, and the Tabasco actually makes bad tequila go away.
Yeah, probably. It's like drinking like
'Cause that-
pickle juice after bad whiskey.
Yeah, instead of the tequila doing this,
Yeah.
you're Tabasco doing this.
Yeah, which I think is preferable.
So
Yeah.
the Prairie Fire kind of became an up north, I guess, tradition, for lack of a better way to put it. So
those are needed.
your dad's bachelor party, we went up north, and I'm not into strip clubs and debauchery and all that. And your mom was actually like, "I'm so glad you're his best man because I know his bachelor party is just going to be fun."
is that the only time she ever said that? I'm just kidding.
I don't think so.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe. Whatever. But anyway, she knew it was it might be like wild on the party side, but it wasn't going to be wild on the raunchy girl side.
Yeah, which is that's definitely better.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. We took we went up north on a Thursday night. We did a 3-day weekend up at your parents' or your grandparents' place. So his bachelor party, we just went to the Sportsman and they had an outdoor deal, and we got a picnic table. And the way we kicked it off was there were maybe 6 or 7 of us, and we would all do a shot with your dad. So
Oh God, so he did
so like
7 shots.
Exactly. So JMO and your dad did a shot, and then Scott Shepard and a dad, and the partner on that shot picked the shot. So I was the last guy because JMO was on this side of him, and I was on this side of him. Then the rest of the people were around the table.
Yeah.
So I was the last guy. And so 15 minutes has passed, and he's already hammered.
He's such a skinny
'Cause he's had
bitch too.
Right,
yeah.
he's had like 7 shots in 15 minutes.
And he has that hypoglycemia. It's like,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
So, so the waitress comes and she said, "What can I get you?" I go, "Like another round of beer, and John, what do you want to do for a shot?" And he goes, "Something fun and fruity."
Fun and fruity.
And I kid you not. So I go, two Prairie Fires, please. And he didn't hear me.
Oh.
And in like the 3 to 5 minutes that she left and came back, I swear his buzz doubled.
He'd
It
like
was
degenerated even further.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just like the blood went from in his stomach to his brain.
It's coming out his
So
eyeball.
she sets down these 2 Prairie Fires, and he goes, "That doesn't look fun and fruity."
Oh my God.
So
I'm gonna
if
say
you
that
ever,
to him.
he'll remember.
I will.
So if you ever hear, next time you hear me say it, fun and fruity, you
It
know where
doesn't
that's
look
from.
fun and fruity.
It doesn't look fun and fruity.
Fun and
So,
fruity.
Of
Of course, you wanted to drink something fun and fruity, Dad. Gosh.
Yeah, he
So
shouldn't have
lame.
said that.
No, you deserve that. Yeah.
But anyway,
He just said bourbon straight.
that was a rough night for him.
Oh, 7 shots of different stuff within 15 minutes. I imagine that's not
right.
a great way to start.
Right, and then the rest of the night was,
Right.
you know, we didn't have that, but yeah, it was equally as aggressive the whole rest of the night. Anyway.
That's all I want out of a bachelor party. Just like up north boozing, whatever. That's it. That'll be great. I don't need
if
strippers and
if hookers
gambling.
aren't your thing,
Yeah.
why would be your thing like the night before you
Get
commit
married?
yourself to?
Yeah. Right.
It makes no sense.
And
It's kind of gross.
shocking to me how many people in this world hookers are their thing. I never understood that.
Really,
Yeah.
I am happy to say I don't know anybody. I don't know if I know anybody who's even ever gotten a hooker. And
I
I'm
should
not
say
sure this
just-
is a rabbit hole we want to explore, but either way,
I'm not into the like kink shaming, like people who have their kinks, whatever. It's your thing. I'm not going to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long
Like,
as no one's getting hurt. Right. I don't really care.
Well, I was having a conversation, and I don't know if I've said this to you, but, and this totally applies to sex, but it doesn't get shared. But I said to somebody in a conversation yesterday that everybody's different, and everybody has unique and obscure thoughts.
That they don't share always.
Well,
too. Yeah.
so, yeah, which is exactly where I'm going with this. So
Yeah.
you might even say, you could call them proclivities, and
I think that's the polite way.
if somebody were to share them, I think they could be labeled as weird.
Or fetish or whatever.
So what that means is everybody's weird.
Right.
Everybody. Now, the people who get labeled weird are just the people who have the guts to share it. Everybody's weird.
Right.
But the weird guy is the guy who has the guts to share it in public.
Right. It's just, are you
Well,
sharing
or-
it in
or
the
what-
bedroom or on the street?
Right,
Yeah.
but whatever compels you, whether it's courage or need for attention, but we're all weird. We
Yeah.
all got the weird stuff.
And I respect people who are honest about it more so than people who hide it. Hide it. Depending on how weird it is. But yeah, it's like whatever. Just be on. If you're honest with it, you're clearly not ashamed of it, and you have more confidence in yourself than most people, which I think is admirable.
A quick story. You know what Doc Marten shoes are?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're big and chunky, right?
Paging Doc Marten. Never mind.
Before those became popular, and I never had something that thick and chunky and dorky. But when the thicker shoes started to come in, like cheesy little skinny like disco shoes were in, but as shoes started to get thicker and bulkier, Cole Haan made this really cool pair of like kind of chalky black shoes with this black sole.
Yeah.
And I liked them and I wore them. And at that time, they were kind of cutting edge, like dorky cool or cool dorky, whatever you want to call it.
Nice work shoes.
No,
Kind of,
they were
no.
more like nice shoes with jeans or nice shoes with, with
Okay.
khakis or
Gotcha.
something. They wouldn't go with the suit. You know,
Right.
like brushed leather.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And the sole just, anyway. So somebody goes, I was with my buddy Pat, and we're in my car, and we're driving. He's like, what the fuck is on your feet? So
What are those?
So I take my foot, and I plop it up on the dash, and I go, dare to be dorky.
Dare to be dorky. Yeah.
So, you know, whatever. One man's dorky is another man's cool.
Yeah, those bulky shoes are now, that's kind of been affirmed as a dork shoe, but that's all right.
Well, by today's standards, they'd be totally normal.
Oh, okay.
Totally normal.
Oh. You said it's Cole Haan?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is coming off.
When Doc Martens became
I
big.
could show you some pictures of 80s shoes that, you know, the leather soles are less than a quarter of an inch thick. They're disco shoes. They're total disco shoes.
Yeah, like a light sole, sure.
Or like another, like pimp shoes. You know, picture like, you know, pimp, you know, a stereotypical pimp with the feather and, you know, some colorful suit. You know? Did you watch Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Do you remember the one where Kramer's walking
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Anyway.
That's I think more of Huggy Bear when I think of a pimp, you know,
Okay.
from Starsky and Hutch. Yeah.
I was trying to soften the whole pimp thing.
But I mean, like, that's what he is. It's like, and it looks good on him.
Yeah.
Anyway, especially in the remake with Snoop. Oh God, I was gonna say something. It's gone. This week when I was at work, during one of our, you know, they address everybody at once. It's like 150 people, and like the guy's got a microphone. He's walking around, and they're addressing all of us. He was like in the middle of his speech, and he's walking
This
past
is like
my
a startup
table.
meeting kind
It's
of
sort of, or just like a what's going on, what's happening next. I'm going to tell you guys all at once. But it's like a conference, or like a meeting. So he's talking, and then he's just like looking, and he's like taking steps, and he's walking towards my table, and the guy who sits kitty corner across from me, he just stops and he goes, "Those are the coolest shoes I've ever seen." He's like into the mic.
you?
No, not me. To this other guy across the thing, and sure enough, there were some pretty sweet, like it was like silvery, like shark skin, gator, like crocodile skin shoes.
Okay.
They were pretty awesome, but it was just funny to me that he had to like. He was so amazed that he stopped in the middle of his like full presentation to be like, "Everybody needs to look at these right now." He's like, "These are the coolest shoes I've ever seen."
That's funny.
So yeah, shoes are you can so with the right shoe game, you can really make your whatever vibe. I don't know where we're going with this.
I have always said if you want to size somebody up really quickly, as far as like taste and station in life,
Look at their shoes.
watches, shoes, and belt.
Yeah.
How do you accessorize?
Yes, that's fair.
And if you don't wear a watch, obviously shoes, and then belt.
Right, because it shows. Yeah, like, are you are you a 1980s fraternity dad who wears New Balance shoes, or yeah, what else is going on?
Right.
Right, I totally agree with that.
So
My dad's shoes.
you had a couple. You said you had a couple of glasses half full.
Yeah, the
topics.
first one was that post office thing. Like my whole idea, and you guys, Chris definitely knows this. I'm sure you guys know this now. Is I want to privatize everything in the government, and if we don't want to start with, you know, military and police, which is fine, then start with everything else. I don't see a problem with that. Get rid of everything. Like just let some company take over, and still have the laws in place. Just have it be a responsible corporation.
I get the post office.
Yeah.
I think there's some utility there that if they made money, you don't want to subsidize. You don't want to subsidize anything if you don't have to.
No, it's just here's the thing: it's the government should not compete with any free market, with any free enterprise.
Well, yeah, but there's a pretty strong legacy there. I mean, you go back to like the Pony Express, where
Well, who gives a shit? Legacy, the government. It's not the
No,
government's job to be sentimental.
I totally appreciate
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying
There is something to it.
It started because nobody else was doing it. They needed to do
Yeah,
it,
right.
and then it's just been a thing.
Yeah, I get that. And they have weird tax exemptions, and because they were around before the Constitution was ever written, stuff like that. I think it's just time to seal the coffin and send it and shove it overboard. I think that'll be nice. Give it a nice.
I don't see that happening. And
Well, if they're out of money by 2024, I don't know what choice they'll have. Were they going to bail it out again?
I can't. I'm not going to try to represent that I totally recall all of the history of the ups and downs, but they may get their shit. Whoever turned them around, I don't remember. It was like late 80s or early 90s. Somebody turned them around really fast.
Well, unfortunately, that guy's not around anymore.
Well, we don't. Maybe his kid is.
Maybe it's not genetic. Hopefully it's not genetic because I want to see them die. I want to see that thing go to waste.
What if in a couple of the years they were profitable? I mean, there is something about. I like having the mail brought to my house every day.
I like that too, but they could just sell that to. They could just send that contract to somebody else. And it would at least be done properly. Like, how long did it take for the post office to get package tracking after UPS or FedEx had it?
Well, that's part of the reason I think that they are cheaper than those guys.
Yeah, but they're also worse. Like, I don't know where my package is. What the fuck? They're like, yeah, it's gone. We lost it. Sorry. It's like, that's not. And I have no recourse. What the hell?
I have
the government.
had packages and letters lost over the years.
There you go. And it's like.
But I have with FedEx once as well.
But did they reimburse you anything, or was there we're fucking sorry, this is terrible?
I don't remember. The post office was very apologetic.
But you didn't get reimbursed for anything.
Don't remember.
I would imagine not. But then again, you do have to have package insurance, right? Never mind. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I hate stuff like that. To me, that is a redundant government service. And I think all government services are redundant, but we're going to have to get into that now. It just made me happy to see that this thing that I've been advocating for its demise since my microeconomics course, arguing in class with Andy Berman over Mr. Chomet while he's telling us to be quiet.
In high school?
The post office should not exist. It got to a point where me and that kid, we would be talking and discussing. So he was like a lefty, discussing so much in class.
The kid or the teacher?
The kid, and the teacher was obviously left leaning, but he wasn't really involved in the discussions. We would get so involved in our wrapped up in our conversation that it was just overcome what his lecture was, and he'd be like, "All right, guys, let's bring it back in. Let's talk about, come on, gross domestic product and stuff like that." And we would just be like, "We're talking about why patent offices need to exist. Can you fucking shut up there?" And he was just kind of a bitch, the professor. Which I like the guy, but he should have been more forceful with telling us to shut up. He was letting us get away with it.
There's teachers, I think, who run out of energy for that.
And he's definitely one of those. And he was a nice guy. I just think that his life was kind of tired.
Yeah.
He's like, can't handle this anymore.
So,
I apologize if you're listening to this.
Other glass half fulls. I'll tell you one thing, just today in particular. I've run my errands. I've already worked out. Everything's done. When we're done with the podcast, I'm just going to...
We're going to do some shopping.
We're going to do some shopping. And I'm going to hang by the pond with a drink with the dogs.
Nice. Yeah.
I got a steak thawing.
Oh, it's a good Sunday right there.
That's a good Sunday.
This girl has walked past your house 5 times now. Back and forth. She's not there now.
Kind of older woman?
Blonde, yeah.
Like blonde or strawberry blonde?
Like blonde. She's maybe in her 30s.
Oh, okay.
She's a cutie.
There's a woman who there's a group home.
Oh, really?
Down the hill,
oh.
And there's a woman. It's not a 30-year-old blonde girl. She's in her 60s, but she walks a lot, and she has Tourette's.
Oh, really?
And she's talking all the time.
Fuck.
I feel. Sometimes she's just talking, but she's usually kind of arguing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's profanity laced. And I feel bad for her. But hey, at least she's out doing something.
And at least you get to have an excuse for cursing in public to strangers.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I don't know why a blonde woman would be walking by 5 times
She's checking us out.
through the window.
I bet she's just doing laps. I think she's just walking from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill to the bottom.
So
and
she's in
back.
her 30s, the hot older guy and the hot younger guy.
She'd be like, "Hey, you're right in our average.
Hey, we got a
What are you
seat.
doing?
Sit
Yeah.
down.
Come on in.
Let's
I want to talk
Let's
about
interview.
shoes." Wait, we already did that, and I just made fun of Prospect.
That's all right. It's a light
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, it is a light Sunday. That's what I wanted. I didn't want it to be like a fucking rant fest, like it was on Thursday, like an anger filled.
I do want to talk about Bernie and Joe Rogan a little more
There she is again.
because I thought of.
She looks like a pretty lady.
She looks like she walks a lot. She's skinny,
Yeah,
like sinewy, thin.
yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's working out.
Oh wait, did I tell you about
Oh, you know
that?
what she's doing? The hill.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said she's walking up and down the hill.
Got it. I didn't do the math
Oh.
that the hill was her workout. Yeah, that's what's going on. So my house is on a hill, the only hill in the neighborhood.
I like how that it's set up. It's like terraced. It's cool. It's like a Chinese rice paddy.
What is?
The way that the houses are set up, it's like on the incline. So it's like house, and then it's like house, and then house, and then house.
Oh, got it.
yeah.
You know,
It's called terrace.
got it. I didn't know that.
You're welcome.
Well, otherwise the houses would be tilted. that'd be fucked up.
Right? Is there another way to do it? Right? Is it? Just- I wonder how much we could get if we could get a developer to do that for us. We want you to build them in line with the natural slope of. They'd be like, no.
It's green.
Yeah.
Call AOC.
Yeah. Right. It's green. It's green. We're not modifying Mother Earth.
Right.
Right.
So, interesting potential fact. I don't know that this is the truth,
So
but
unverified fact.
that this neighborhood, this subdivision in particular, is purported to be the first neighborhood in the country. So this was like an auto exec's. This was way out when it was built. 12 Mile, the pavement of 12 Mile ended at Farmington Road.
Okay.
And it was all dirt roads west of here. So this was out there. And these houses were like, again, like auto exec country.
Wow.
And this house is allegedly the first neighborhood where a developer came in and didn't just come in with bulldozers and whack everything down and make grids. They said, you know what? This has got beautiful old trees. It's got hilly terrain. What we're going to do is we're going to make a layout that optimizes how the lots sit on the topography,
Oh.
and we're going to let that dictate where the
The
houses
houses are
and the
gonna
roads go, versus just making north,
Flat.
south, east, west grids.
Huh. That's interesting. I got to be honest though, I do hate the layout of the roads.
In here,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Because I have to and then there's the 4-way diagonal stop sign. It's like it's not 90 degrees like this. It's like that.
So yeah,
It's like yeah.
yeah, you're right. There's
it's like,
a lot of
100
super,
degrees.
Right, there's
Yeah.
a lot of super soft rights and lefts and super hard rights
Right.
and lefts.
And there's like 4 of those 4-way stops that are all soft or whatever you call it.
Well, if this was kind of an
120 degree.
experiment, that would kind of lend itself to.
It makes sense. I never heard that first neighborhood where they did that.
I struggle to believe that's true.
We should go to the records office.
I don't know if they'd know that.
They'd
But-
be like, I don't fucking know. What do you want?
But when I moved in here, the neighbor across the street and the neighbor kitty corner were telling me that.
Well, there's
So-
that old house. Well, we could go to the governor's mansion or whatever it is and find out there, right?
In downtown Farmington?
Yeah, and they probably have some historical data. But also there's that other house. It's a place it's across the street from the post office. Isn't that like some historical record place also?
Right near downtown Farmington?
No, on 12 Mile.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's definitely an old house, but I don't know if it's a business that's in there or like a government thing. I thought it was like a
kind of
history.
yellow.
Yeah, I thought it was like a history thing.
Don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Don't know.
So cool. If that's the case, that's pretty sweet. The first neighborhood where they used the earth to decide the layout of the neighborhood.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
if it's true. Maybe the first in Michigan, maybe whatever. The first ever.
Maybe it's
That-
also cool to me if that's just how they decided to do the layout. Like,
Well, but if you look, like you
yeah.
go way back, like the neighborhood my dad grew up in Detroit, it was just, again, just north, south,
Right.
and east-west
grid.
streets.
Yeah. That's very boring.
It
Right.
is.
Yeah. It's I don't like that. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, and I mean, there's trees. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see that are hundreds of years old that they
Wow.
did a nice job, preserving, till it falls on your house.
Or you turn it into a pool table. Right.
Right. Hide under the pool table.
So what is on the? Is this slate? Is it a piece of slate?
Yes.
I've
1 inch
never-
slate.
Oh wow, 1 inch.
That's pretty standard issue for a decent pool table, and this is a 3-piece slate.
Oh, so
There's-
it's
when they put it in here, I watched them put it together. It's pretty interesting how they did it.
yeah.
But yeah, they're super expensive. Pool total zealots. You can get 1 inch pieces of slate, which is a huge ass piece of slate.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like, could you do like a billiards table
or
or like a snooker table? Sorry.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Like a snooker table is like double the size almost, right?
Yeah, or half again as big.
Right. Or yeah,
definitely
right.
bigger.
Half again. Never
Yeah.
heard that before. Half again as big. That's a good way to say that.
You never heard that?
Not once.
Huh.
That's very old timey.
Okay.
6 dozen half. Wait, what?
6-1 half
Dozen
dozen.
of the other, yeah. And baker's dozen. What the hell is that? Is it 13?
Yes.
Okay.
Never understood that myself.
No, what the fuck? Why? It's because I'm giving you an extra one because I'm a good guy and I'm a baker. But why is that inherent in you being a baker? I don't understand. Why is that the exciting thing?
Don't know.
Yeah, it's just a deal. It's just
Don't know.
like
I don't know. Maybe the devil's in there. 13. Devil's in
no.
the
It's donuts. Come
Devil's
on.
in the bakery.
Devil's in the donuts. Devil's in the bakery. It is ovens. And we know there's some bad history there.
What else? Oh, Bernie. So I'll go into Bernie.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Joe Rogan interviewed Bernie in the last, say, 2 weeks. And I will say this. Bernie was Bernie. He was very consistent. And I always got to respect him as a person and a human being who's a politician. Because he's always tells the same story. And he sticks to
His
his
guns.
stuff, whether I agree with it or not. And there
Right, it's
were
valuable.
a couple things I struggle with, but I'll be nice about it because the guy means well. He definitely means well, but there was one thing that really frustrated me. He started out with his 3 things that are economically, in terms of his lack of preparedness, which I think is a nice way to put it, in terms of being able to implement them, is he wants a minimum wage of $15 an hour, which I understand you can't really live off $7 an hour if you're like a head household. Medicare for all, and what's number 3? $15 an hour, Medicare for all.
Student loan debt.
Yeah, forgiving
Yeah.
student loan or free. Oh, I guess it's 4 things: forgiving student loan debt,
And free college.
and free college for everybody.
Which
And
are
he
the
did
same
free
thing.
college
yeah.
for everybody was like,
Yeah.
and Rogan didn't really push him on that one. He did push him on the $15 an hour, and I think I told you this. He said, "Well, it'll be $15 for everybody." So, so he's thinking like if everybody faces the same obstacle, it'll somehow come out in the wash instead of a bunch of people going out of business, or
Yeah.
McDonald's hamburgers going up $2 a burger in price, and the whole thing.
That might
Yeah,
actually
then
be good for our country.
Well, perhaps. But then it does come out. Well, then Starbucks goes from $7 a cup to $9 a cup, or whatever they charge. And anyway, so on one of those, Rogan was kind of probing him on, how are you going to make this work? And one of his responses was, "Well, I don't have the numbers in front of me." And I'm like,
Well, I don't have
How-
the numbers in front of me, but
how can you say that? These are your 4 things.
right,
They've
this is
been
your
your
thing.
4
yeah.
things for like 6 years plus.
Right, young
'Cause when
idiots who
'cause,
hear of you.
Right, when
yeah.
you tried to run last time, these were your things. How can you not? You should be able to rattle this shit off and be 100%. You should have a plan, and to say I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Yeah, you should know it so well that it even sounds charming when you explain it. You should be able to do it in like a funny way or something,
You should be
right?
able to totally
Yeah.
sell it
Yeah, yeah.
and throw numbers around.
She
Like,
has a
what have you
friend.
been doing?
Yeah, sorry. Friend is also cute.
Hi, ladies.
You want to come inside? But to me, it's like his that kind of carelessness when it comes to his being able to explain his policies is shared by his supporters. In that, the first time I ever heard someone being like, "I want Bernie," I was in a college course, political science, and here I am, naive, young, libertarian, whatever. We're talking about what it's in 2016 during the election or during the campaign. So, it's like, who do we want? Who what do you guys want? And then this one girl sits in front of me, goes, "I want Bernie," and she's Southern from the South, so she has like this accent. She's like, "I'm voting for Bernie," and I'm like, "Bernie Sanders." I'm like, that guy's a socialist, and thinking like my naivete, like that is all they need to hear to know that guy's a bad guy. Like they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, really? Oh my God, I'm not voting for him. He's a socialist." Like that, I'm telling you, you're welcome. But she was like, "I don't care. I don't want to pay for college." That was all she said. So the logic behind that, which is I don't want to pay for college, like, which kind of implies the way that she was thinking about it. It's like nobody has to pay for it. It's just like it just becomes free instead of like it's paid for by someone else or lots of other someone's.
Right.
Yes, that was very disturbing to me that she didn't understand that, or at least didn't demonstrate to me that was a concern of hers. It was just like, I want free stuff. See, college is expensive,
People don't know.
and
And you
if
don't-
you
and
do
you don't
think
get-
that, then you're kind of I think that's low quality for a person to have, and that's okay if you hate me for that. But I think that's how I feel about it.
Well, unfortunately, we're not a country full of geniuses.
Or apparently people of high personal character.
I've been like binge podcasting this weekend, and 83 is the IQ at which the Army determined
whether or not you can join.
whether or not you can join, and the way they came to that number was 83 is the number, it is the precipice where above and below you can or can't like read a manual, follow instructions, and complete a task.
You're in a tank. It's like, which button? How do we shoot this thing? It's the big red one that says fire.
Anything.
Yeah.
Working in a kitchen, right? This is how you cook.
Yeah.
That's
That's how you
the
answer
number.
phones,
And-
clean dishes.
Yeah, where I'm going with this is, so take a guess on what percentage of the country is 83 or below. And this is not a criticism, people, when you see where
It's
I'm
a
going.
fact.
Well, it's a fact, and this is what I'm going. Where I'm going with this is semi.
What percentage of the country is below 83?
is 83 or less? So basically,
I'll say 18%. 17%.
that's a good guess. It's 10%.
Oh, okay.
It's roughly 10%. But the point is, I mean, if you want a job in McDonald's, if you want to be the fry guy,
Yeah.
you need to understand how to do a repetitive task with specificity. And it's not high skill, but I mean, you need to do it, and you need to, not ruin the fries, and you need to not get hurt and not hurt anybody else.
You need to keep on.
So the point being is, 1 in every 10 people in this country are basically not employable. 1 in 10. I mean, that's significant.
Oh, I just didn't think about it that way. Wow. Huh.
So what
Yeah.
do you do? And you don't, I mean, you can say, I mean,
There's a couple of funny ways we could go here. But
Soil and Green.
Soylent Green. I didn't want to say that, but that's kind of where I was headed. I was going to make a...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, there needs to be some humanitarian answer. But
I don't think the answer is invest in those people, like especially with government spending, because they overdo it every time. I would say private charity is good enough for that. And of course, and also private charity is stuff like McDonald's having a program where they hire a guy with a 75 IQ and teach him how to do stuff, or like even give him like talk to the customer.
Walmart hires them as greeters.
Yeah, hello.
Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's benevolent.
It is benevolent.
That's good.
That's what I'm saying. You can, reap the benefits of operating in this country and the profits that come with it. Like, and
But
all you
it's-
got to do is hire a guy who.
But it's 10%.
Yeah,
there's,
that's a
there's,
lot.
There's a north set and a south set of doors, or east and west at Walmart.
Yeah.
So it's 2 out of however many hundred people work a shift.
Right.
That's the problem, So, the unfortunate reality is they need to be taken care of. Their economic drag, but I mean, you can't just.
You can't
What do
kill
you
them.
do?
Yeah, definitely. Right. And you can't just let them
You
kill
shouldn't
themselves.
You shouldn't neglect them. What are you going to have them just wander and be homeless? And
Right. And I'm sure a lot of those people are homeless.
That's
Yeah.
probably a chunk of them. I
Yeah.
think the homeless is probably, super low IQ and mentally. The word I was going to choose is wrong. It's
Inept. Whatever.
I was going to say
Harsh, but-
defective.
Well, that's more harsh than inept, but yeah.
It's an okay.
It's accurate, yeah.
It's the right word. It's not a nice
Yeah.
word, but it's an accurate word.
Is defective too mean of a way to describe those people? 8-ball? Cannot predict now. Okay. So we might get some blowback for this, but we can't tell.
I no, but
I'm just
my
joking.
point is there should be compassion and something
Yeah, totally.
humanitarian and egalitarian.
I
done.
absolutely agree. I just, just like I want to get rid of the post office, I want it to be a private charitable donations.
But so people, the flip side of that is the top 10% of people with IQs should reap the benefits of the rewards that they earn, create, whatever as a result of that. So the bottom 10% should be taken care of, and then everybody in between.
What is the top 10%? Would that be above 140 or one something like that?
I don't know. No.
135?
No.
Even less?
Yeah. Yeah. If I had to guess, I'd guess probably in the 120s.
Somewhere in there. God, that's depressing, isn't it?
Well, I know what my IQ is, and I think I'm 98th percentile.
Holy shit.
And
Wow.
well, I know what yours is, and you're 98th percentile.
You can, I having, now that I'm in a corporate office, it's depressing to me to see how many people are
Don't have the skills to think.
kind of lack the marbles. And you can tell like that too whenever you meet somebody.
10% is 83. I mean, I would think, and this is a huge, huge, huge assumption, but so it's 17 points below average.
Yeah.
So if
Right, so 117 technically would be, but that doesn't make, like 80% of everybody else falls within 83 to 117.
I would guess, yes.
That's so sad.
Well, no, average is average.
I know,
but
but
I mean, right?
But I've seen,
It's 300 million people in the country. The bell curve, you're going to have a very, very well populated set of dots in that bell curve.
yeah.
So the average is 100. So your biggest concentration in that biggest sample size is going to be 100.
Yeah.
That's average. It is what it is.
I'm just saying, from what I know about a person who has an IQ of 100, it's really hard for me to be happy about that.
If you live in a household,
Yeah.
your siblings, you're all lucky. You got good genes. And you know what? I mean, your parents are both very smart, so
All
I'm
three of
sure
us.
a lot of it. Yeah, don't wear my shirt, but you might get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you're telling Chris all this shit?
You
Anyway,
know who you are. Whatever.
sorry,
moving over
people,
it.
we're on an inside
This
joke
is a little
here.
bit of an insider. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do this. But anyway, 100 is average, and 100 is not. The problem is for you, 100 is not what you're used to. That's your problem.
Right. My norm, the 5 people that I spend the most time with aren't even close to that.
Right.
Yeah. But that doesn't make any sense then, because how can I find all these people? Like
What
if
do you
there's
mean?
only 10% of the population is, well, or let's just say 25% are people that I would deem
Can relate to.
Yeah, relatable.
It's
Then
not even going to be 25%. I promise you.
well, that's what it feels like at work.
When I'm at work, I'm surrounded by Now you're with a bunch of people that you're with closely because you're in training,
Yeah.
right? So I'm around more people, but I'm not around as many people that close.
Yeah.
But the point is, I have just a hand. There's just, put it this way, 9 out of 10 days, I eat lunch alone.
Yeah.
I'm not. My one lunch buddy now works at a different facility most days, so I'd rather just throw my headphones on and watch a podcast or
Right. Listen to
some music or whatever.
Jerry, Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
And because I'll tell you, man, making small talk,
It's almost painful.
it's
Or it is
struggle.
painful. Yeah.
I'd rather be at odds with somebody smart than
Have a pleasant,
struggle.
uneventful conversation with somebody who can't even hold up the
Yes.
topic or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, it's it's like when people are silent and they're like, you say something and they're just like, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is that? That's not a response. You need to. We're talking here. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is what you process and compute
Is
and throw out there is either going to take too long or just can't even be computed. And
this is a
it's-
very humble conversation.
I was going to say we're kind of getting
yeah, this is kind of talking about us.
we're
but
so smart, but no, but whatever. It
Ego and
is what
hubris.
it is, and we're lucky.
yes.
So we'll just leave it at that.
And I know a lot of smart people too. I'm not saying that. And I love those. Those are my favorite people. That's my favorite quality that a human can have is intelligence. And then, compassion. And,
But is
Right.
it's not even really a quality because it's a crapshoot. And if you have the intelligence, you're on the lucky end of the, the receipt.
well, you could say that about anything, like,
That's
it's like a
true.
racist, it's like, I hate black people. And it's like, it's just a thing that happened to them, and then the guy it wouldn't make any sense to that guy, of course, but he doesn't have an IQ above 120 or whatever.
That's
So everything in life is like that.
that would be an interesting thing because racism is totally irrational.
It's arbitrary, right?
And
Race is arbitrary.
It's irrational and I don't know. Is it arbitrary?
Racism is not arbitrary. Race, I think, matters
Oh, right, right.
absolutely not. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter a single bit in life.
Well, intelligence is arbitrary.
Yeah, I guess, right? Because you could know people that lead you in the right direction.
An ability to think abstractly is not, it's not necessarily developed. I think there's things when you're young that can foster it,
Yeah.
but I think you're basically it's kind of like Usain Bolt. That guy was born with genes that are fast, and he just made himself a little bit
Right,
faster.
Michael Phelps. There was an ESPN article, like a ESPN Sports magazine, and on the cover was Michael Phelps, and it was an article about how literally everything about him, just like his fingertips and the shape of his feet and his size, everything about him was perfectly genetically designed for for being a swimmer.
Okay.
As being in the shape of a man to be a swimming device.
That's interesting.
And I was like-
remarkably, he did it.
Right. And yes, remarkably, he ended up doing it. And it's like, that to me is just the most amazing thing. And some people are great. Like, that was a crapshoot. How did that fucking happen?
A guy I went to high school with, his name's Rob. He decided to start swimming his junior year. He'd never swam competitively in his entire life. Senior year, he went to state finals and
Wow.
and finished at like third or
Oh
fourth
my gosh. Wow.
in I think the 100 or whatever. I mean, a number of events, but I think the 100 free. And he was 6'2", kind of narrow shoulders, thin built, built very similarly to Michael Phelps. And he just had the physique where he could go fast in the water. And the coaches said, worked with him, do this, do that.
And he even got better
and he
at
was
it.
smart, right? He was smart enough, and he was physically fit, and yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. I think it's the duty of extraordinary people to seek out and nourish other extraordinary people. That would be like the best. That's the best way that we can operate as a society.
Well, when you say that, when we were talking last night about kind of what I wish to have left behind, That's
Yeah.
another way of putting it,
Okay. Yeah.
is to help people through being an example. And should I have the opportunity, or should they seek me out, to offer, where I have
Guidance. Yeah.
yeah, skill or guidance to do well at something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great approach.
And I met a kid at when I was working at the pizzeria, a child who was 11 years old. And I didn't know that until after I talked to his parents. But, I was up. He sat down to dine in with his mom and his dad. And then I went over to help Jason or help this guy, or talk to him, whatever, on the other side where they make pizzas. He's making the pizza. So the kid walks up to us and he just starts talking. And he's kind of like quirky, weird, like a little bit like, oh, it's odd. But as we were talking, I realized that wasn't a weirdness thing. It was this kid is fucking genius level smart. And this is what this looks
Was
like,
he, like,
at
in high
age
school
11
or something?
11 years old. No, he wasn't in high school, but just like stuff. He was talking about like proper technique for basting a turkey and like how to cook turkeys at the right temperature for this long and what kind of techniques you use and like shit like that. And it was like, how the fuck? What? And it was like mind boggling to me.
So it's like 160, 180.
Something like that.
crazy
And I went up
IQ.
to his parents and I said, that's extraordinary. That's amazing. And they're like, isn't it a trip? And I wasn't like, no, it's not a trip. It's like, that's a crazy special thing that
Well, it's a trip. It's probably, if you spend enough time
It
around
was
the kid,
a
you're going to
trip,
be
yeah.
like, this is trippy, because at some point he's going to say something that's so adult and probably,
that's what it was. He
Maybe-
was like the
maybe-
same like level of intelligence that I was.
yeah, imagine being around
Yeah.
the kid. Like, imagine, was it Thanksgiving time? Is that why I
No,
was
it was
talking turkey?
actually, yeah, it was. It was
So
November,
imagine
yeah.
having Thanksgiving dinner and this, you're like talking politics at the dinner table,
Yeah.
and this kid chimes in and says
like,
something
well.
that like takes
Yeah.
everything, it's just like blows everybody. Like, you're all fucking stupid,
Yeah.
because this is the real answer.
Well,
and
Gandhi
you're all
said
like,
an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So I don't think you're right. Yeah, it's like something like it's like pearls of wisdom that were just. And the other guy I was with, he didn't recognize it, but I was like, that's what that is. I've never seen that before, but that's fucking amazing. And I'm happy I got to see it. And that kid should have someone in his life pointing him in the right direction, even though his extraordinary ability will help him so much regardless of that.
I was at U of M, and so this wasn't a little kid, but this guy, I was in an outreach class. It's like a pass-fail, and you did philanthropic work
Yeah.
of some sort. Somehow we...
How do you fail at that?
you
Just don't
you
show up.
Don't show up.
Right?
Yeah. We somehow got talking, and we were in an art building, and this guy got talking about, I took an art class, and the guy was really into tennis, and he was, I think, a physics major, physics or math, difficult degree. And he took us to like where he had a locker or something, and he showed us some of his sketches. And I think, despite Good Will Hunting, I think if you have a very high IQ, I think that can translate into other disciplines.
Anything.
I think,
Yeah.
I think you can be good at art and music and math and humanities and on and on. This guy brought out some sketches, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he did was just unbelievable, and you could tell this guy was just like crazy smart, super
Yeah.
high IQ. Anyway, so I'll bet when he was 10 or 12 years old, he was the same kind of kid.
It's just freaking, it was like so cool to see that. I don't know. And Jason, like the guy that I was with that day was like, you need to relax. Like, you're freaking out about this kid. And I was like, you don't think that's fucking amazing? I've never seen that before. Like,
I'd have
that's incredible.
I'd have been very excited.
It's because he didn't recognize what it was. He didn't understand how important, like how unique that is.
In Good Will Hunting, do you remember the movie?
I love that movie.
Do you remember the first problem that he solved? I forget if it was first or second, but there were a bunch of like sticks with dots on the
Yeah, I don't
end.
know what the hell that is.
So I was asked, one other guy and I, in high school, we were asked to participate in the Michigan Math Prize competition. And there were like 4 or 5 questions, and it was like a blue book. And you got this, this leaflet thing, and they said, when you're trying to, and they were very bizarre questions. They said, when you're trying to figure this out, write in words how you're thinking and how and why you're trying to get to where you were. And in one of the problems,
I
so
see.
there
I
were-
can't do that.
so I read all 5. They said, and read all 5 of them, and the ones you know you can get close, get really close, and then and don't spend like the whole 2 hours answering one. You know, if you get 3/4 of the way there and you're running out of
Because we care more about your thought process than we do about the answer.
they want
Yeah.
an answer on every one,
Right.
and they're like, and the ones you can go, then go back to the ones you can get close. You know, just tap yourself out on each one.
Yeah.
And the hardest ones, if you only get 1/4 of the way there, just stop and go back. But anyway, so I remember I drew this circle, and there were like these kind of things coming off it, and it was just like I got to come up with some way to try to figure it out an answer to this totally bizarre problem. Anyway, so I saw that, and I was like, I didn't know what it meant, and I don't know if it was a real math problem or something they just made up
Yeah.
for the movie. But it reminded me of this test, and it reminded me of how I thought and
Yeah.
how I'd answered on this test.
I just
So
see equations and I just finish them.
it was pretty cool. That movie left me feeling so small, because that guy was just like,
Fucking colossal unto himself, as they say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was neat in that movie was the guy said, you know, there's only a handful of people who can tell the difference between me and you in this entire world, and I'm one of them.
Right.
And I hate to see you throw this away.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it. Was like that side of it. But they really played that down. It was really more about his like the girl, you know, which I was like, who fucking cares about the girl? But
I don't think they played it down, but that part of the movie only would resonate with so much of the audience.
yeah.
But I left that movie again just feeling so small, like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, he's driving off and he's going to meet her in Stanford, and
Yeah.
you know, he's just, you know, good things are going to happen. But that was neat,
That was
because
a good
I'm a
one,
math
yeah.
guy, and I just really, really, really related to that movie.
I think it's the guys like Chucky or whatever, like Chucky, I know, where he's talking. They're both doing the demolition job, you know, or they're like throwing shit off the building, you know, bricks or something, and he stands there and they stop to like take a quick break, and he's like, you know, if we're still doing this in like a year from now,
I'm going to kill
I'm
you.
gonna kill you. Yeah,
And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
going to fucking kill you. This is
Yeah.
a waste of your time.
yeah, and it's, that warmed my heart. It's like
That was a great scene. You
Yeah.
know what was the other scene? Oh. And this is like not the humility episode, but
ego and hubris, baby. Yeah.
but I loved it when he said he brought in a proof. And the guy's looking at it and he goes, "This is right."
When he
This
lights
is
it
right."
on fire.
And he goes, "It's right."
Yeah.
He goes, "It's right. It's fucking right." He goes, "Look, I'm sorry, but do you have any idea how fucking easy this is for me?"
Yeah.
He said, "This is a joke."
Yeah.
Right. And then he lights it on fire.
And the guy's like, "Oh my God, no!"
Right,
It's
right.
like
And
this is my life's
and
work.
that's when he says, you know, there's only a few
Yeah.
people in the whole world that, yeah. But he's like, "Didn't have any idea how fucking easy this is for me."
Right.
And I just remember high school math just being like,
Not
there's
for
got to
me.
be more to this.
Not for me. I think that to this day I have maybe a 6th or 7th grade math level. Like, I've never been able to be better than that at it. And it's just the lack of practice. That's it. I just need to practice more. But why would I?
If you remember, I told you, and
Yeah,
I want to look into this because I remember my brother telling me a very long time ago that people hit a math ceiling. And for some people, it's like fractions, and you just don't go beyond that.
For me, it was like algebra 2. That's like where I'm at right now. It's like algebra 2. Maybe some basic stats stuff, but algebra 2. That's it for me. Some geometry, you know, squares. I know what squares are.
Yeah, you know, in Good Will Hunting when he does some paper for the girlfriend.
Yeah, and he just like comes back with it. And she's like, "How did you learn this?"
Yeah, she goes, "How do you do this?"
He's
And
like, "I learned it."
No, she said, "I work really hard at this," and I
He's
think
talking
I'm
about the
smart.
piano.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of smart people, and they work really hard, and you just do it. Yeah, and he goes, "You know how like Mozart just sat down at a piano and played?" He goes, "When it comes to stuff like this, I can just play."
Right, and that, God, more than making me feel small, that movie made me want to be better. Made me want to be better about like that kind of thing, and you can only control it so much. But
I I think the reason it made me
Yeah.
feel small was, I saw it, and I was much older than you when I saw it, and I was in a job where my job at that time was selling industrial equipment.
Oh,
And I wasn't
interesting.
that right. I wasn't
Fascinating.
doing anything cerebral with my life.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm fucking selling machines,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got lucky with my job, the pizza job, because just like, it's not, you're not doing anything cerebral. It's you're making and selling food, and that's it. But the part that I made myself realize was like a value, something that not everybody can do, cerebral part, is like human interaction. A lot of people are really shitty at that, and they don't understand why, and they couldn't figure out in a lifetime. But I took pride that people told me that, this is something that I was good at. And that always made me be proud of it.
That's good.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't not curing the cancer, so to speak.
Oh, I know what. That's one of the reasons I'm enjoying this so much.
Yeah.
Is because you and I get cerebral and I get to talk, and it's going out. Hopefully, the audience grows and this is something that other people are going to benefit from.
I just hope it's not super boring to hear us, suck our own dicks or something.
No, I'm enjoying this
Yeah, I
episode.
think.
I'm enjoying this episode.
This is
How
good.
far into it are we?
I don't know, 40 minutes. Something like that, right? 20 minutes. Oh, wow, more than that. It's 4:15. I don't have to go at 5 anymore, by the way.
Probably an hour.
Yeah,
We're an
probably
hour
an
into
hour. Yeah, I don't know. That's fun. And clearly, if the average IQ being 100 was more of a problem than I picture it to be, it would be a problem. And life goes on, everything's fine. The trains run on time and shit, so it's not like it's a real big epidemic. But it just is weird to me to hear that, and then actually see it and what that means in practice. Whoa, our lava lamp just did a neat thing. It all freaked out. The top part broke off.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you heard about the people who are higher level intelligence are usually also have some sort of autism spectrum stuff going on?
Is that true?
Not unproven fact. That's what I've heard. I
Well-
don't know. I don't know where I could verify that.
So if I had to process that and give a quick hypothesis on it, I would say if you're that smart, you've only got so much brain power,
To devote towards social.
and your
like-
gears are right. Your gears are turning. They're processing so much data, and they're doing so many higher level and other things that the
It's
resources.
kind of like stay the fuck away from me. Yeah.
Well, maybe that where I was going is the resources just aren't there to deal. The people are. They're not part of what's going on in your head.
yeah.
It's like you got other fish to fry in your noggin.
Yeah.
So when you're doing fucking differential equations, without paper
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What?
in the supermarket, you're not real focused on.
Hey there, Jim. Yeah.
Exactly.
How's the? Shut the fuck up. What?
Right.
Focusing. You're staring at it.
Or you're just ignoring them.
Yeah.
right?
Literally just quiet.
One thing when I would ski, so when I would start a run, you're sitting there. If it's bump skiing, you pick your line, and when I would go, everything went silent. I heard nothing, and I got tunnel vision. My peripheral vision.
Yeah, it goes
went
away. Yeah, I get the same
So-
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun, but
So-
I was never, and I probably will never be as good of a skier as you are. Just from what I've heard.
Yeah. So, but my point is, if you were, let's take motion out of the equation and what was going on there. If you were to talk to me, I wouldn't have heard you. The only time you would bust me out of that is if somebody shouted my name really, really loudly.
Or a gunshot, right?
Something.
Bears growling.
Yeah.
Some primal reaction.
But I remember, I still, and it's been a long time. I just remember things just went silent. I didn't even hear myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever run Mach 1 at Vale? Or maybe it's Breck. It is Breck.
Yeah.
Mock
yeah,
run and
yeah, yeah.
Tiger.
Chair 7.
Yeah, chair 7. That's my favorite bumps run.
Yeah, Mach. Aren't there 3 runs?
Yeah,
right
it's
there?
1, 2. One of them is Tiger something, and then it's Mach 1, and then it's something else. And the
That
one
was-
at the farthest end is usually closed because the
Mach
it's not
1
enough
was in
snow.
the middle. Yeah, it was like a little bowl.
Yeah.
You know, that was a good bump run. My favorite bump run was Highline for sure.
Oh, God.
Highline under the chair.
It's too much. Man, I'm such a pussy.
Under the chair was
Oh.
a little more consistent because Highline could have weird fall lines, but Highline was my.
If you
was-
go off to the right, it's fucking worse. Yeah.
One time I skied Highline top to bottom without stopping,
I tried to do that once, and I only made it like 3/4 way down.
and you know what? If I lived there and had gotten adjusted to the altitude,
You
I'd
could have
been able-
totally done
I'd
it.
been able to rip that fucker off every time.
Right, that's not even fair. Like the first 3 days out of a 10-day trip that you're even
Just
in,
acclimating.
you're just like,
right.
and then the 4th day you're like Superman or something. You know, 5th day you're like Superman. Then
Well, for me, I had this inverse thing because the 3rd or 4th day, my legs would start to be getting
Jello,
really,
yeah.
really sore.
But for me, it was like this. Like I would go from like, you know, full strength to like super super tired, and then after I got acclimated to the air, the altitude, my legs would be fine then the next day, and I could ski full strength again, not feel like Jello. But
I'm sure there's a relationship.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, Mach 1 was fun.
Highline's just a fucking trip.
Breckenridge is a great mountain, big mountain.
Breck is my favorite. Yeah, but wait, but Highline's on Vail.
The
Yeah.
run to get from the main Breckenridge mountain, I only knew how to get. I've only skied Breckenridge, I don't know, 6 or 8 times. You would go through like this kind of burnt out area. Do you know where I'm talking about? It was kind of open, and had to have been a huge fire, and there were kind of like burnt tree trunks, and it was
Nothing
open
like
and
that there anymore.
powdery and cruddy, and it was isn't there like East Peak and West Peak or Peak 9 and Peak
they
8
call
or
this
something
numbered.
like that?
Yeah, Peak 7, I think, is where there's a lodge there, maybe.
So Mach 1, that's like Peak 8 or whatever. But you got from one
Yeah.
peak to the other, and the way that we would take, you went through this cool kind of no man's land, and it was kind of semi-steep, and it didn't get skied enough for there to be bumps. Like I said, it was powdery and crud, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
I gotta grab this. Will you
Take over.
take
Yeah.
command for 2 seconds?
Yeah, now there's peak. This is before Chris's time or after Chris's time, but there's a peak 6 on Breckenridge now. It's called
Hey.
Kensho Super Chair, and
Can I
it's
call you back
altitude
for
of like
a podcast?
12,300 feet or something like that.
Okay.
That's easily my favorite. Just when you get to the top of this chair, and by the way, if it's windy enough, that chair ride up is so steep that you're kind of like blowing in the fucking wind, and you're like, holy shit. I'm talking about they put in a new peak, so peak 6.
Oh,
Yeah, Kensho Super Chair. It's altitude 12,372 feet or
Wow.
something like that. Yeah, I always like to go there and take a picture because you can see just freaking everything. It's so amazing.
that's cool. Is
Yeah.
it above the tree line?
Oh, totally.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And you get up there to the top and you can see like the other peaks, and there's like a crater in the mountain where there's like a cool little like lake thing where it looks like they almost cut the top off a mountain. I'd always like to see that in the summer, but
How big is it? Is it like
it's small. It's
Okay.
really small. But you can also hike around too to the other. You know, there's like I don't know what the mountain range is, how many peaks there are total, but one of them is it's on. There's nothing there yet, and you can hike from peak 6 to that other peak and then ski down from there, and it's like another 150 feet, 250 feet up or something.
That's
like
cool.
that.
Did you
Yeah.
know that you can ski at Vail? Have you been to Minturn before? Minturn Country Club?
No.
Minturn is like, I don't know, if you drive it probably 10 miles west. It's a cool little town. Minturn Country Club is this restaurant where you go in, there's a meat counter,
Yeah.
and you grab your own steaks. You pick out a steak or
Whatever. Yeah.
chicken, half chicken, or piece of seafood,
And they cook it for you, like.
and you cook it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's all these grills. So you get
Oh,
a
wow.
beer, and
Cool.
the only thing that's brought to you is like if you get a side like a baked potato or whatever else.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Like au gratin
We'll get
potatoes.
that later. Yeah, so neat place and cool little town.
Yeah.
So my brother and my nephew got real chummy with the ski school guys, and a lot of them would live in Minturn, and they would just ski home.
Oh wow, from Vail?
Yeah.
10 miles away?
Well, I don't know how far of a ski it was.
Oh, okay.
It was
Just
shorter
on the
to
mountain,
ski,
yeah.
maybe a couple miles on
You
skis.
just go on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not anything steep, but
Yeah.
you needed to know where to go, and it was skied, so you could kind of tell, but you need to know where you're going.
There is, on some of those mountains out there, it's if you go in the woods, if you go tree skiing, you can get lost. Like you can get lost on that mountain if you go deep enough. And I always like that, like skiing in the woods. You're like tree skiing, and it's like
Yeah,
I fucking get lost.
that's
out
cool.
Here. Yeah,
That is very cool.
I'd like to do like mountain heli skiing sometime, ski some chutes, but I think I need to practice before I get back into
Have
it.
you been to A Basin?
Yeah,
Have you?
is it Palavicini?
I was going to
Yeah.
say Ski Palavicini,
A
man.
few times. That's
a
my
shoot.
favorite run. Yeah.
Yeah, if you fuck up, you can chew some rock there.
Oh yeah, and when I was there last, I was with one of I'd say my favorite ski partner, Chase Edwards, shout out. And he and I would ski it together, and it just so happened that day it was like some spring break thing going on, so there was a ton of people, and it was like a lot of people doing Palavicini at one time. And so if
That's
one
cool.
person would fall like at the top, it would just be
Yikes.
like
Like a
avalanche.
30 car pile up.
Sort of, but it was like it also would cause an avalanche. So like people who would stop halfway down to take a breather, like you get from the top to where the trees are,
Yeah.
and then that's like a good good place to stop. Sometimes everybody would always sit down, and then if someone had fallen up at the top, they'd like jump off the cornice or something. They fall, it'd just be these snow like boulders like rolling down the hill and whacking people in the head.
That's funny.
We saw one hit this girl, and she was just like, "Ow!" Like what was that? It's just guys like, "Sorry."
Have you ever been to Crested Butte?
No.
There's a couple areas. I was mad one time that you have to drop in,
Yeah.
and
I like dropping in.
Yeah, there was one area, and it was your dad, and the guy Scott Shepard, and this other guy, and there were signs. So there was like a catwalk, and then a cornice, and you had to drop in. It was about a 10-foot drop, and it said like, "Don't ski this alone."
Wow.
Lots of
Really?
rocks, lots of stumps, lots of crazy terrain, and they were going to do it. So I'm like, cool, let's go. I drop in, and you kind of had to like just stop and catch yourself.
Yeah.
You just kind of stop and fell on your side. It was
Yeah.
really steep at the top. And then they're like,
And that's already, you're coming in at a steep angle, right? A sharp angle.
no, because it's off a catwalk. You just would stop. And,
And jump in. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. I gotcha.
And they're like, you know what? We don't want to do it. And I was mad. I was fucking pissed because I was like, you know what? Crested Butte, especially at the time, it was not the popular place it is now, not the
Sure.
the trendy place. And this place was serious.
It's like why did you come here if you don't want to fucking do this?
Well, no, but
Oh.
I really didn't want to ski it alone. Who the fuck knows? And people at the mountain said, and I forget what this area was called, and they're like, don't ski it. They said, don't ski it. There's not enough snow. There's going to be a lot of rocks. It was so steep. Some turns you couldn't see the next turn. So you're doing hop turns each way down.
And you're like,
Yeah, and I hit a
Yeah.
rock.
Oh,
there was a
shit.
flat-faced rock, and I hit it and just like slid down it, and then like kind of fell onto it.
Yeah.
I had to either fall down, and who the fuck knows how far you're going to keep falling, or you fall up
Yeah.
and keep control. So I fell up on
On
the
the
rock,
rock, yeah.
and I hit my head just a little bit, but I was like, you know what? You fucking guys,
I fucking-
this is
yeah.
serious shit.
yeah. Especially when it's steep like that. That's the most deadly, like the deadliest contributor to the danger, right?
And I had fallen on similarly steep hills before, and you don't stop.
yeah.
You don't stop.
Right. At
Something
Keystone, there's one like
stops
that.
you.
Yeah.
I was skiing a hill. What's the place in New York where the Olympics were? I don't know. Whiteface Mountain in whatever the town was. And it was pretty steep, but it was really, really, really icy. And I fell, and I wound up on my side, and I was just sliding. And it was this steep hill, but it like kind of curved off to the right. And there was like a gully. So there was like snow pushed up where people were skiing, and then a gully with all these trees. And so I went up this, boom, went airborne, and I'm like backwards, and I'm just branches are breaking, and they're slowing me down. It scared the shit out of me. When I finally stopped, I'm not joking, I looked at my torso to see if there was like anything sticking
wrong
through me.
Oh my God.
That's how hard I was breaking like old rotten tree
my
branches.
God.
And I was literally like looked for something you
Like
know,
a fucking shrapnel.
sticking through my chest or my leg.
Oh my God.
Scared the piss out of me.
Did I ever tell you the story of when I crashed into a tree well?
No?
Okay, so I was at Vail with it was for spring break in I think my junior year of high school. It was like probably my favorite ski trip I've ever been on. And so I went with a couple of my ski team buddies, this one girl and this other boy, and they were dating, and I got to go whatever. It was fun. We were like the Three Musketeers was our thing on the team. So it was my main people. And doing this run on the west side of on the Highline side of the mountain, it wasn't quite that far over, but it was like maybe the third run past or before that. There is like, I don't know.
7-Up. 7-Up's one of the ones that's not
maybe
Mach 1.
Maybe. Oh, that's it. You're right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That was bugging me too. 7-Up. Anyway, so it was like late in the day, so the sun was hitting it, and when there's the sun hitting it, the snow every now and then it'll go from wet to dry snow. So like you can really fucking catch, you can really get screwed up by that wet snow when you switch to it like that. And sure enough, we were coming down around this big winding path. I don't even know what you call it, but like it was big, wide open, like coming around. You're building up speed and like centripetal force. And then I'm going boom, and then I cut over to the left side to go in between this huge tree and the rest of the woods, and then the other side of the trail was on the far side of that tree, so it was a small spot. And sure enough, I hit the wet snow that was in between the tree and the forest, and I just went right down the well, and snow covered up to my chest, up to here. I was up to my chest in snow.
Digging out.
Yeah, and I was like wearing my Ray-Bans. Like I was like, I'm freaking out. I lost my sunglasses. Like my skis are 5 feet underneath me.
Right.
And then a fucking patrol guy comes around, and he's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel fine. I didn't break anything. I just could use some help getting out. My skis are all the way down here. One of them fell off and was next to me, but my skis at the bottom." And the guy said, first thing, he just goes, "You think you can do it by yourself?" And he was like, I'm like, what the fuck are you here for? Why do you exist? That was my first experience with the ineptitude of ski patrolmen.
That's funny.
They just don't give a shit. And I've never met one that has.
Really?
Yeah, they don't care. Like, that guy didn't give a fuck about helping me. He was just like, can you do it by yourself? And I'm like, why? Because you don't want to do your job? I'm asking for a hand here. Like, a reasonably nice stranger would do this for me. This is your job.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And whatever. But, yeah.
So did you have to dig your ski out?
I did,
you have to,
yeah.
like,
And I fucking...
diving for your ski?
No, it was still attached to my boot, luckily.
Oh,
but and it was kind of at an angle, so it wasn't flat down at the bottom.
Did you take it off? And
Yeah, I had to kick it out, and then I pulled it up. And then I found my sunglasses, too. It was nice. But, yeah, the fucking patrol guy did nothing. I think you don't do anything most of the time. You're just there for the free skiing. It's probably the case.
I tested with the Vail Ski Patrol.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I was going to go out there and be a ski patrol for one season.
Ski bum? Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know why, but I bailed out.
You
They
passed the
make, like-
test?
Yeah, you want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Normally there is I don't remember if it's a full day or a full half day. And I went to the ski patrol hutch. I think it was maybe at the top of, is it 4 that goes from Midvale? Anyway, whatever. It's at the summit. And I told him, I said, hey, I think I want to come back and be in the ski patrol next year. I can't come here 2 weeks from now. I'm in school. Is there something we can do? And they said, yeah, come back tomorrow. So they said, come back at 2 o'clock. So we went to the back bowls after the sun had melted an area.
Yeah.
And it was freezing back up.
Oh, God, that's scary.
So, yes.
Yeah.
It was like and we went to a steep part with really big bumps and really deep troughs.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're going to ski down. And they skied down like 100 yards. And they're like, you need to ski from where you're at to us without stopping. So I was like, no.
Oh,
I just fucking ripped it up. I was like, I'm not even gonna ski this like crud. I'm just
Fucking
gonna
rip
blast
it.
through it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ski it like it's powder.
that's the best because it's breaking off like ice shards too. Yeah.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
just ice shards
Yeah.
and shit going everywhere.
Yeah, and they come off in, like, flats.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom. And I'm like, so I stop, and they're like, what next? And they're like, you passed.
That's it. That's
That was
awesome.
that. They're like, this guy, if he can do that, man, he can do anything.
You fast. You're in. Thanks. Cool. All right. You have
It
to
made
save
me feel
anybody?
pretty good.
No. All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Because part of the test, they like made you do the sled, and you know,
Mhm.
and they're like, you're good.
That's funny. They didn't even have you do it.
No,
That's amazing.
no. I mean, if you can ski,
Yeah,
through crud,
right,
and
yeah.
they're like, I'm not gonna like do a survival run here. I'm gonna rip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great. What would an average guy do? 5 line
Exactly.
through it.
Well, for me, it didn't even get that far. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I got one mission here, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
100 yards. That's funny. That's
or
yeah.
whatever it was. It was
It wasn't even the length of a bowl. Like not even half the length of a bowl. Like from top to bottom, right?
no, yeah, they weren't. You know, they were from here to. Can you see the pickup truck in that driveway?
No,
That's
but I
about
know where
100
it
It's
is.
about 100 yards, right?
That's like 70 yards.
Okay,
60
whatever.
yards, Yeah. But
Far enough.
yeah, and those bowls, man, in the afternoon without the ice, they can get pretty fucking hard to ski. Like
Yeah.
that shit is tough. That's just thick. It's just powder that stays there for days and just turns into heavy ass.
Yeah, so it was like icy on the top and like slushy underneath.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just nasty stuff.
It's just heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa. And I always use these like skinny ass slalom skis whenever I go mountain skiing.
Yeah,
I've never once skied on fat boards. Yeah.
On parabolic skis, you don't ski on them now?
No. I do ski on parabolic skis. I'm saying they're this skinny at the foot.
Okay.
And, you know, like most people ski on a board that's this big. Instead
Under
of
your
this big.
foot?
Yeah. You haven't seen
Now?
those? Yeah.
No.
They're called powder skis, but people use
Oh.
them now for like. Yeah, they're way better to ski on. But have you ever met Hagerman? The Hagermans? No, my dad's
I don't
other
think
side
so.
of the family. No. Anyway, but yeah, they're big fat boards. I'll show you them when I'll show you some after the show. They're,
So
they're
you can
pretty,
float
they're
on
pretty
top
neat.
of the
Oh,
powder.
totally. And it's just like it's way easier to turn in that deep shit.
It's interesting because, yeah, the way did you ever ski on the kind of skis your dad and I skied
Straight
on?
skis, yeah. Back when I learned on straight skis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way you would ski powder was you would like kind of sit back and get your weight.
Allow your tips to float
Yeah,
on
just
top
get-
of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my dad still skis like that,
Yeah.
but he has parabolic skis now that need to be thrown away. If you're listening to me, you need to get rid of those slalom super racers, the space racers. Those are done.
Do they even make straight skis anymore?
Those are street skis, or I'm sorry, they don't make them anymore.
Okay. I'm not yeah, I'd probably resist. I'd probably skied on my skis until just to make a point.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying is like they're old, they're all beat up. It's like fun, like they know this guy's a fucking skier, and I'm like, yeah, except for that, I don't even know what that's called anymore. The base, your boards are done on the bottom. You're like
They're just gone.
Yeah, they need to be rebuilt, like, but you can't do that. So buy new skis.
Yeah.
The guy even said that when last time I went to Colorado, I took both of ours to be sent through the machine, and the guy was like, throw those away. He's like, those are done. These are garbage skis. He's like, you can't. They have one more trip in them, maybe.
Through the machine
Yeah.
before the edges are just
No, he
gone.
meant one more time skiing on them. Yeah. But whatever.
Huh.
My dad's not the one to buy new stuff, especially skis.
Well, is it part of it that I'm old school and I'm going to ski on straight skis and I don't need these newfangled parabolic skis?
No, they are parabolic skis. I'm sorry, but they're just like old ass skis. You're just
Oh.
skiing on forever. They're
Okay.
175s or something like that. That just have been really old.
Yeah, I skied on 203 straight skis for the bumps.
Those are huge.
Yes.
That's insane. My bump skis were 160s or something like that, or 150s maybe.
203, the stiffest fucking skis ever.
That's in reference to the centimeter length of the skis.
Yes,
Yeah.
top to bottom. So, yeah, Rozzy, whatever they were, and they were stiff as hell. And I liked it because the stiffer the ski, the more damage I would do to bumps when I hit them.
Yeah, right. You just fuck them up, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. Rozzy does this thing now where they name all their skis after famous matador, or not famous matadors, but famous bulls in Spain.
Really?
Fighting bulls, yeah.
Huh.
It's pretty cool. I like them. Yeah.
Do you think we're losing people on the skiing?
Probably. Unless you're really into skiing, this is probably super boring for you. This is kind of a dork
Or
talk.
intriguing.
Yeah, or intriguing if you're intellectually curious or activities curious.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, probably. Let's ask the 8-ball. Wait, what if it says
Let's
no,
see.
though? Do we have to?
Then we'll come up with one quick topic and close her out.
Oh, it says my reply is no.
What did we ask it? Is it time to quit?
I said, is it time to wrap it up? It says my reply is no.
All right. Well, one more topic. So
Okay.
we got to get off skiing. What's mainstream that we can both contribute to that'll take 5 minutes?
Would you already talk about the...
Well, I have a question for
Okay,
you.
shoot.
So I thought about this, and the skiing now makes it more interesting. So you're anti-sports in terms of spectating
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
What about Olympics?
I'm actually into the Olympics. I do enjoy it.
I love the Olympics. You
Yeah.
know why? Even curling, it doesn't matter because it's somebody who's invested themselves at being the best at a thing.
Right. Even if it's curling, which is kind of... Or ping pong, for fuck's
right,
sake. Yeah.
right.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. I like to watch the fencing and the gymnastics.
I love it all
Yeah.
for that exact reason.
Yeah.
People spending themselves and it being the best in the world at a thing.
There's archery, too. I watched that for the first time at the last Olympics.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
You know what I really enjoy?
Huh.
Biathlon.
Oh,
So
yeah,
cool.
that one's cool as fuck. The guns are still... Like, I don't get the guns. Like, if I ever chose an Olympic sport, it would be biathlon.
I think it's neat, and then you miss, and you got to go through the penalty
Yeah.
loop, and it's like I was bad, I misperformed, and you're in the loser loop, and the whole thing's fun to watch.
Last time, not last year, but at the last Olympics, there was a guy who was sent from like some bullshit nation, like some nation state. It was like Colombia or something, and it was like the guy just got picked like out of it because the dictator was like, "You're fucking going. We're not gonna not have a guy in this event, and it's gonna be you." And the guy's
And
like,
he was
"I have
not-
never done biathlon in my life," or something, and he's doing it, and the guy was like falling over, like he didn't know how to ski.
Jeez.
He couldn't ski. And he has a loaded gun on his back, and it was great to watch that. And I felt really bad for the guy, but he had a smile on his face the whole time, and I was like, "That's
It's like
the way to do
Jamaican
it, man."
bobsledders, right?
Yeah, but he was like, "Yeah."
Did he finish?
Yeah, he finished, but he was dead. Obviously dead last.
Way last.
Yeah, not even fucking because those people. The American girl, I forget her name, but she was killing it. She was doing awesome, and the Canadian was too.
I don't remember, but
Remember it.
that's a fun event. It's all fun.
Yeah, biathlon is awesome.
Summer and winter. I love summer too. I love all the running events.
Yeah,
Is Usain Bolt going to be back?
I don't know. No idea.
What's the... Anyway, fastest man in the world.
Yeah.
I love the 100.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
the Olympics is cool. I don't think that's more of a patriotism thing though than a sporting event.
Well, and yeah, they're
Yeah.
more events than games. Anyway,
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
they are events, and not. There are
Yeah.
a few games.
And it's something that's been around since ancient Greece. Like, I'm for that. Yeah, they used to do that back, like back then. It was such a big deal that they even had the Olympic truce. So it was like around this Mount Olympia. It's like this is we're not fighting wars here. Yeah,
Back in that day.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. It's interesting. It's like we're all at war with each other back home, but here we can all at least get along and drink wine and eat grapes and shit. Watch some fun fighting events or whatever from
Grapes and
running
cheese?
shit. Yeah, grapes and cheese.
Have a plate.
Yeah.
All right. Ask the 8-ball.
All right, 8-ball. Are we? Did we do a good job and are we set to go? That was kind of a double. Maybe they'll fuck it up because I asked it twice. Yes, it's literally just yes. That's all it is. Okay.
That's cool.
It just says yes. Awesome. Thank you, 8-ball.
All
All right,
right.
guys.
First Sunday episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Sundays to come, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
This will be good.
All right. Cool. This one was a little more of a casual chat.
Which I like that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. We were kind of blowing ourselves there for a little while, but it's all in good spirit.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Over and out. See that? This is supposed to be fast.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.